What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today, I found 5 fantasy assets who are values according to Yahoo's ADP. Now, this video is pertaining specifically to Yahoo users. If you play on a Yahoo league, this is the video for you. I compared Yahoo's ADP to Fantasy Pros ADP. I found 5 players who are coming at a pretty great discount compared to Fantasy Pros ADP, which takes a collection of multiple sites, where Yahoo obviously is just itself. So here are 5 players that are coming at great values on the Yahoo Fantasy platform. So starting off with Saquon Barkley, Fantasy Pros' ADP is 11 and Yahoo ADP is 15. Now that's only 4 spots, so it's not that significant. But what it means in the first round is Saquon Barkley is available in the second round, right? So now, if you are picks, 10, 11, 12, you have the chance to double up and maybe not take Saquon Barkley in the first round, and you can maybe get him on the backswing, on the turn, on the round 1 start of round 2 turn. That is a huge start to your league. Saquon Barkley hasn't been the absolute monster that he was, that he showed at the beginning of his career. 100% I understand it. But man, the guy is still freakishly talented, and coming off I would say a good performing season with a terrible Giants offense, now going to the Philadelphia Eagles, who just had, DeAndre Swift, who obviously I like, but, isn't that awesome, right? He's a good player, but he isn't an elite player like Saquon Barkley. Over 1,000 rushing yards. That was like, top 12 running back. Saquon Barkley has the chance to be a freaking animal this year. So many touchdowns should be available to him. And just playing in a great offense behind a great offensive line, I think Saquon Barkley here is a great steal, going just 4 picks earlier than Fantasy Pros ADP. But regardless, I think Saquon Barkley is a beast. And getting him, potentially as your RB1 or RB2 in round 2, that's awesome. And the next value that I found on the Yahoo platform is Patrick Mahomes, going as pick 33 in Fantasy Pros, but on Yahoo, he's 41. Now, Patrick Mahomes had a pretty down year last year. Looking at the stats here, completed 67% of his throws, which is really great, but only 4,100 passing yards, 27 touchdowns, and 14 picks. So not super stellar numbers where, the season 2 or 3 seasons prior, he's been 38 touchdowns, 37 touchdowns, 41 touchdowns, and 4,700 yards or better. So he definitely had a down year last year, but things are really looking up for Patrick Mahomes. I'm not one to take quarterbacks early, but with Patrick Mahomes being a potential, 4th to 5th round pick, that's definitely in consideration for me, because if Mahomes is awesome, he's a league winning awesome. Like I said, he literally 4,700 yards and 38 touchdowns. That's really great. That's top 5 quarterback, if not better. Mahomes last year had really no weapons through the air. He had Travis Kelce, who's just another year older, but still great. And then Rashee Rice, now he has Hollywood Brown. They drafted Xavier Worthy. The one thing that the Chiefs really lacked last year was a downfield, just field stretcher, a presence that can just really go vertical and stretch out the intermediate part of the field. Their 2 main receivers were Travis Kelce, who wasn't going down the field as much. His yards per catch went down a lot. And Rashee Rice, who really lived as a yak guy, catching screens, underneath passes, and really making his damage after the catch. So whether it's Hollywood Brown or Xavier Worthy can step in and just be more of a vertical, field stretcher, I think Mahomes' numbers can fly right back up. There's no reason Mahomes can't go back to being awesome like he always is. And truthfully, if he was still going in the, 2nd or 3rd round, I'd be out. But if you can get him, like I said, on Yahoo at pick 41, that's a mid 4th round pick. I think that's a pretty good steal for a potential MVP candidate every year and Super Bowl winning quarterback in Patrick Mahomes. We know he's awesome. There's no reason he can't go back to being an elite option. Next up for me has been one of my favorite players to talk about this offseason, and that's Kenneth Walker of the Seattle Seahawks. Fantasy Pros has him going as the 45th player, but Yahoo has him at 60. Now, that makes no sense to me. Having Kenneth Walker as a late 5th round pick in a half PPR league seems extreme and way undervaluing the talents of the actual player. I think people are freaked out by Zach Charbonnet, who, listen, had a good year last year, but every running back shares touches. Everyone. It doesn't matter who you are, unless you're Saquon Barkley or you're Christian McCaffrey. You share a backfield. Somebody in that backfield takes touches away from you. So when it comes to Zach Charbonnet, who I think is a okay player, I think Kenneth Walker is just awesome. You know, if you want to check it out, I did a film study. You're really breaking down his film on Kenneth Walker. I think he's awesome. Like, maybe not an elite running back, but a really great undervalued running back in the NFL. So at the end of the day, you know, a team that, you know, in 2 years has made Kenneth Walker the bell cow with, you know, in 2 seasons, he's had 250 touches in both seasons. That's enough work to be a fantasy relevant running back. I have no problems taking Kenneth Walker here. Sure, I know you're saying, oh, Charbonnet is going to steal touches and carries. Sure. Everybody has someone that will steal touches. Every backfield. I don't care who you are. So, while I think Charbonnet is a good player, I think Kenneth Walker is just the far superior talent. And to me, hey, I'll take the risk, if you want to call it risk, on Kenneth Walker at pick, 60 overall. I think that's easy this year. Next up for me is going to be a newcomer, Stefan Diggs. Now, this isn't a crazy jump in ADP. Fantasy Pros has him at 39, while Yahoo is 46. Diggs is still a good player. He's fallen off at the end of the last 2 seasons, but I think going to a new offense with CJ Stroud and Nico Collins just opens up a lot of doors for Stefan Diggs and Tank Dell. So, Diggs going, in the 4th round and Yahoo almost making it into the 5th, I think is just a steal, man. I think that's a really, really awesome pick. Diggs is still a good player. To me, he hasn't fallen off a cliff, and I'm not that scared of him. So I think you can get Stefan Diggs as your wide receiver 3 or 2, if you, depending how you do running backs. If that's your case, where you have Stefan Diggs as a 2 or a 3, or maybe you went heavy on running backs or drafted a quarterback or tight end early, and then Diggs is your 1, I think you could do a lot worse. So with him falling to pick 46 in Yahoo, I'm in. All right, and then the last player I want to talk about is a tight end, Dalton Kade. Fantasy Pros has him at 51, but Yahoo has him all the way down at 73. That's nuts. Dalton Kade had a really solid season, especially considering he started the season, kind of splitting with Dawson Knox, and I'm just looking at his box scores here, or his game logs, and, for the first couple weeks, he played 60, 51, 52, 53. He was hurt, then played 61. And then from the weeks where he really was the starter for, the games he started from weeks, 8 through 14, he was on pace for 100 catches, 856 yards, and 6 touchdowns. I just don't see a scenario where they really go back to Dawson Knox. Why would they? I think Knox is just not that great of a player. And Kade in this offense that just lost Stefan Diggs and just lost, I'm forgetting his name, but the receiver that went to Jacksonville. I'm blanking on his name right now. God, what is his name? Whatever. They have a ton of targets open, and I'm not too intimidated by, Curtis Samuel, Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman maybe turns into something, Dawson Knox. I'm not worried about those guys taking like a significant change or chunk of, the targets. I'm not really worried about it. So if I can get this guy that finished the year with 73 catches, 700 yards, and only 2 touchdowns, which is pretty fluky for a Josh Allen passing offense, I think there's significant upside here. And if you can really get this guy, Dalton Kade, at pick 73, so probably a a mid to late 6th round pick, sign me up. I'm all in for that. Dalton Kade, I think, could be a huge league-winning tight end pick this year. And all right, those were my 5 Yahoo Fantasy ADP values. If you liked the video, leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more content. Stick around. There will be plenty of videos coming all over August. It's August 12th as I'm recording this. So fantasy season is right around the corner. Drafts should be coming up for you soon. Unless you're like me waiting until Labor Day weekend, which you probably should do because of injuries. But if not, stay tuned. I have plenty of videos coming your way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.